Welcome to the 2026 South Dakota High School Baseball Association Hall of Fame show. Another year, another batch of great Hall of Famers. We've got 6 players, 2 umpires, and a contributor, as well as the Team of the Year to induct into this year's class. Let's take a look at this year's group. Ryan Kessinger of Washington. George Eccarius from St. Thomas More. Sheldon Gant from Yankton. Spencer Sarringar from Pierre. Dylan Kirkeby of Brandon Valley. Bennett Osborn of Redfield area. Randy Preston, a contributor from Sioux Falls. And Matt Clark and Steve Krier, 2 umpires, as well as the 2017 Dell Rapids team. Let's get started with Ryan Kessinger.
When high school baseball started, so it was the inaugural year in 2001. And so that would have been I believe my sophomore year. So that year we actually went on to win the championship game. And so that's, a memory that's pretty special to me. I don't think we were exactly, the favorites to win that year, but, we put together a good squad. We had a really good group of guys and made a nice run in the playoffs. So
Ryan belongs to a prominent South Dakota baseball family. He's the grandson of legendary Ken Kessinger, an Augustana Athletics Hall of Fame coach who spent decades building local baseball community in Sioux Falls. And he joins his brother Chris as a Hall of Famer. He was just a sophomore when he helped Washington make a playoff run in their first year participating in spring baseball. He went on to earn all-state recognition as a senior. Ryan went on to play baseball and put his name in the record books at Augustana.
There's probably too many to name, honestly, but I'd have to say first and foremost my parents. So, they're always my biggest supporters, my biggest fans, making sure growing up that, first of all, they got me started at an early age, so playing t-ball, however old that is. But, just making sure getting to practices, driving me all around the country to tournaments. And, I don't think they ever even missed a game. So I mentioned my grandpa, he's a huge influence on me. So I remember obviously he coached, so he had a lot to teach us. He really wanted to teach us, me and my brother, how to bunt. I didn't really take to that too much, but he was a big fan of the drag bunt. So just how to respect the game, how to play it, how to compete and, do your part to help your teammates. So, and then had some great coaches too. So I mentioned Coach Simon. So I guess I'm not sure how the committee thing works or who puts in the good word, but I've got a feeling that probably Coach Simon, vouched for me, put in a good word for me. So special shout out to Coach Simon. And then for Post 15 East, I played for Coach Jared Fredenberg. And so nothing but great things to say about him as well.
George Eccarius. He did a lot in a short amount of time for St. Thomas More. In his 4 years of high school baseball, he won 3 state championships and was named All-State 3 times.
Well, 3 state championships was pretty good. That was a good run that we had there, and a lot of success and a lot of fun memories during those games and in those seasons. But the thing that really, I take away from it is the friendships. From all 3 of those teams, there was a core group of guys that to this day, we're still in a fantasy football league together. We're still in group chats that are active every day. So lifelong friends and memories from those experiences.
George Eccarius was a 3-time All-State selection and 3-time state champion. He was an honor roll student who didn't waste time making an impact at the varsity level for St. Thomas More. As a freshman, George helped his team win the first of 3 consecutive state titles. He started to dominate on the mound as a sophomore. He went 9-0 as a starter and threw a no-hitter. In his 3 times as an All-State selection for 2014 to 16, he struck out 191 batters in just 118 2/3 innings. As a senior, he also hit .441 and led the state in home runs while adding 25 RBIs and 12 stolen bases.
Yeah, well, Coach Peckney gets a lot of credit for building a winning culture at STM baseball and one where the guys have a lot of fun. But it's obviously my parents. They all the time that they spent traveling around the state and the country watching me play baseball. From a young age, just the amount of time and love that they poured into me watching me play means a lot. And especially my dad. I mean, all the times in the front yard where he was throwing me batting practice or hitting me ground balls, all the way through high school and into college, just trying to provide the best opportunities for me to have the best coaching and just to be set up well in baseball and in life. He really went above and beyond, and I'm always thankful for those memories that we were able to build together through baseball.
Congratulations to Sheldon Gant, one of 3 Yankton Bucks to ever be named to the All-State team 3 different times. Sheldon was a multi-sport athlete who found success in football, wrestling, as well as baseball. He was an All-Stater in 2015 with a .386 average and 17 hits.
I think the biggest thing, top of the list is from growing up. I moved to Yankton when I was 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, and joined a travel ball team. And that squad that we had, that inner squad, whether it's I don't know what it was, but we all clicked from early on. We had like the same 6, 7, 8 guys that just stayed from when we were 12 till when we were 18 and graduated and go to college, that stuck together, and all of our parents stuck together, and we just had a ton of success and a ton of fun. I'd say our coaching, not only in high school, but our younger coaching, back when we were in the teeners age, those were the guys that really pushed us, saw our true potential, and pushed us to get there. When we didn't quite know how good we were, how good we could be. I think those are the people that really changed how we saw ourselves and saw our potential.
Spencer Sarringar was one of the best dual threat players to ever play high school baseball.
Quite a bit, and I just remember the teammates as well. We always got along pretty well. It's not like where it is with the bigger cities where you kind of play for different teams and then you maybe meet up in the high school team. Like for us, we played together ever since we were really little. So we kind of got used to playing with the teammates, and then growing up from there. And it was just always a blast once baseball season came around. I think that's why I ended up choosing baseball. It was just the relationships I made from there were always the best.
Spencer Sarringar was one of the best defensive and offensive threats to play in his era. The 2-time All-Stater in 2016 and 2017 was a Pierre Governor's legend behind the plate. He was a 3-year starter and a senior team captain for the Govs. As a senior, Sarringar hit .335 with a .444 on-base percentage and a .543 slugging percentage. He added 7 home runs and 55 RBIs. After high school, Spencer went on to play at Northern State as well as with the Sioux Falls Canaries. He currently lives in Australia, where he plays baseball in Perth.
Well, I guess I'll start out with the high school baseball team. I think Steve Gray and Dirk Campbell were really big into making it enjoyable. So at the end of the day, baseball's a game. You've got to make it fun. And if you have coaches that understand that and make it enjoyable for you, it's makes playing baseball a lot easier. It makes it easier showing up to the baseball field because then obviously my parents were getting me involved in the game and up there being there no matter what, taking me to games and always supporting me. Just as much as I love baseball, they love watching it. But it made it a lot easier for me to know that I always had that support. If they didn't ever they tried making it to every game that they could.
Don't let his quiet, unassuming presence on the mound fool you. Dylan Kirkeby was fierce.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be winning the state championship. 2018. That team was special. It was a really good group of guys. Played some really good baseball, played against really good competition, and ultimately came out on top, and you really can't beat that.
Dylan Kirkeby was a dominant pitcher for the Lynx. He was twice named All-State in 2018 and 2019. He was instrumental in Brandon Valley's state championship in his junior season and was named the South Dakota Baseball Player of the Year by the Argus Leader in 2019. He struck out 192 batters in 157 career high school innings. He went on to pitch at Northwestern in Iowa. He's continued his baseball career after college with the Washington Wild Things, the Schaumburg Boomers, and currently plays for the Sioux Falls Canaries.
It's it's kind of been my life since I can remember. When I was younger, going to my older brother's games, eventually when he played in college, going to all those games, and then just learning everything from him, and not just baseball but life lessons too, because I mean that's really all baseball is. It's such a good metaphor for life and how you're not always going to win, and you just got to keep going, and you learn to handle failure well, and it's a humbling game, but it's really been obviously a big part of my life and continues to be.
Bennett Osborn set the tone in a family full of baseball talent.
Biggest memory that stands out, you know, you pick out one thing, and it was our game to go to the state tournament in 2018. We were playing Dell Rapids, and they were the #1 team in the state, and it was a high scoring, kind of sloppy game. They made errors. We kicked the ball around a little bit too. I wasn't quite the pitcher that I became later. And I was more of like the mop up, come in and try and put a fire out kind of guy. And I got in to finish that game off. We were up 1 run and had 2 runners on, and Matt Galogi was up, and he was a heck of a player. He could hit. Didn't give him anything to hit, walked him on, and then got the next guy to pop out. And that was just an amazing moment. I mean, we rushed the field because the Muskrats had never been to state before that. And then we upset the #1 team in the state to go. So that was amazing. It was like David and Goliath.
The Redfield Muskrat shortstop and pitcher earned 2 first-team All-State selections in 2018 and 2019. He contributed to the varsity team for 4 seasons and even got an opportunity as a 14-year-old when he got called up to play. His senior season, he hit .456 with 8 extra base hits, 21 RBIs, and a .1203 OPS. On the mound, he had a 3-0 record with a 1.78 ERA and 42 Ks in just 39 1/3 innings.
You know, my mom and dad right away put a bat and ball in my hands when I was really little. I was always chasing my dad and my uncles around at the Dairy Queen games. And on the other side of the family too, my cousin and my uncle they'd always love to play catch with me, play baseball, play wiffle ball, whatever. Loved all my teammates every stop that I went. It'd be really boring if you didn't have all those fun personalities and guys to do it with. Coach Tommy Gregg, Coach Christian Christensen, Coach Kevin Nunn, and Coach Brett Mitchell. Those guys I still think about a lot now that I'm coaching, and still trying to work on my game, the chances that I get to. I think about a lot of their wisdom and how they taught and how I can, have the impact that they had on me.
Sometimes just a voice can set the tone for a big game. We'll introduce you to the man behind the voice, Randy Preston.
It's been actually a lot of fun to be able to do what I do and kind of help the kids out. I've been told by the board of directors, by Dane in particular, that my work and what I do here really makes a difference for the kids. They feel like this is a big event, not just another baseball game, but that the state tournament is a big event. I'd like to thank Gary Weckworth. Gary's the guy that brought me into the Stampede realm. And had he not brought me into the Stampede realm, I never would have been doing anything here in town. I was asked, he heard me do a youth hockey tournament at the arena once, about 15 years ago. Heard my voice on the arena PA and thought, oh man, you got a great voice, you could do this. Once again, Gary Weckworth and all the Canary staff, thank them. As far as the state high school baseball tournament group or the state high school baseball organization, I've got to really thank Dane Eady. He brought me in here because he'd heard me do hockey games with high school hockey here locally. Knew what I could pull off and how I might be able to make it a better experience.
Time to give some credit to the men in blue, who don't always get a lot of credit. Matt Clark and Steve Krier have been umpiring for the South Dakota High School Baseball Association for years and now are in the Hall of Fame.
When I got started, and I just worked Little League, and I worked my way up to all the levels now. So,
like I said from the beginning, it was to try to stay close, right, to baseball, because it's been a big part of everything we've done. But the camaraderie with all the people that become your really good close friends is irreplaceable.
I enjoy it. I enjoy every time I go out on the field, whether it's cold like it is today or whatnot. I enjoy every time I go out.
What do you enjoy most about umpiring?
The relationships I've built with fellow umpires and the coaches and the kids. I mean, with me, I talk a lot to kids while I'm behind the plate or wherever, just to get that social thing out there, so that, you know, they think I'm a human being as well.
You know, I would be leaving somebody out and feel bad about that, but obviously our family is a big supporter, and you can't keep doing this if your wife isn't on board. And so big shout out to Grandma Ann, and she spent a lot of time at the ballpark with kids and us as well. So
I'd like to thank the high school baseball board and their Hall of Fame committee for selecting me for the honor, because it does mean a lot, you know, coming from them. And I wouldn't be where I'm at without my wife and my kids, you know, with allowing me to go 5, 6, 7 nights a week, you know, doing baseball. And, you know, my family's been very supportive of what I do. And I'm sure I'll have plenty of them here on that Saturday too, just because they know the time that I put into it. So, it goes back to them as well.
Every year, the South Dakota High School Baseball Association elects one team to go into the Hall of Fame. This year's team, the 2017 Dell Rapids team. When you look back at the Dell Rapids 2017 team, a couple of things stand out. One, they overshot other people's expectations. But two, they had the vision all along that they had a chance to be special.
Like, it wasn't really necessarily that year that it comes to mind. To me, it's all the previous years leading up to that, because I don't know if I'd necessarily say like our previous teams were like all that much better, but like we lost a lot of like key seniors like Brett Mogan. Like, I thought for sure we were going to win a state title with him on the team, because I mean, he's just a dominant pitcher. But like the fact that we turned around after losing all that and we had made it to state championship in, what was that, 2015, and lost to St. Thomas More in the championship for their third straight. Lost to Winter Cologne in like a 14-inning game in 2016 in the first round of the state tournament.
We started making a run my freshman year, Nate's sophomore year. We really thought that we could be competitive throughout our whole high school career, and then we really strove for it my sophomore year. So the next year, when we did that 13-inning game with Winter, and then that was our end goal the next year, to really get it done.
At the start of the season, we had 2 guys that hadn't played baseball in, well, it was probably 3 or 4 years that like were starters for us.
Started the year 1-3. We lost to O'Gorman, Lincoln, and we lost 1 game to Sioux Valley. You know, and then we played that Roosevelt team, and we hung with them for a few innings, 4 innings, you know, and then they just kept putting pressure on our defense. And our defense, we kind of folded a little bit there. And that was kind of the moment where I think, you know, I remember we talked about it afterwards. We started doing more things in practice with putting pressure on defense. And I think that was the moment where things kind of turned. And then after that, we just started steamrolling everybody we played for the most part. And
I felt like Josh and Nate were both a year older than Carter and myself. And we kind of had a good combination of Nate and Josh played shortstop and third base growing up, and then I played first and Carter played second. So we kind of just had the perfect melding of tools to have in the infield and our outfield, and kind of just as a full team that it finally came together for us.
We put up a lot of runs, and it was an interesting team, because I think those guys knew they could score. And, you know, every game, you know, they're hitting balls to the fence or over the fence, and it was a lot of fun.
After losing in early April to Sioux Valley, they rallied off 18 straight wins against Class B teams. They had 6 players who hit over 300 and hit .332 as a team that season. When you pair that with a 2.36 ERA, this team was tough to stop.
7 home runs, I think, with wood bats, you know, and all this was with wood bats. I mean, it was we scored so many runs that year. It was a little different Dell's team.
But I remember turning around and, like, I hated Vermilion. And I played with most of those guys in college, which is kind of funny. But, like, I wanted to kick their butt and win state and, like, finally, like, just win.
We were all just hitting it so well. And then when it came down to it, we saw a really good pitcher. I believe it was Hunter Christopherson. And he was a good pitcher, but I think that we just collectively just hit the ball, just got on base and did our jobs, really.
That was our second closest game, and it was 7-0. You know, the one before that with West Central was 11-5. That was our closest game in the playoffs. So just kind of shows how dominant that team was.
Dell Rapids got right to work. First inning, Seth Anderson delivers a bases clearing double to put his team up 3-zip. It would stay that way until the fifth when Nate McKee and Matt Galuli hit back-to-back triples.
Yeah, those Dells bats got hot, pushed in some big runs. That secured the win. They kept pressure offensively, and they also got a gem from their pitcher, Trevor Pulsher, on the mound as well.
Yeah, Pulsher went the distance, giving up just 5 hits on his way to the shutout. Dell Rapids St. Mary claims its first title in what was its third consecutive state tournament appearance. Let's hear from the champs.
And finally seeing it where we finally got over the hump. It felt pretty good. Felt pretty happy for the kids. They earned it. They worked really hard.
There was some nerves, but I knew my team had faith in me and coaches had faith in me, and I knew I was going to do well.
Our hitting came around and we were fielding the ball really well. The past couple of years we've had a lot of errors because we've been nervous in the past. But you know what they say, the third time's a charm.
The last out, I think it was a pop fly right at me, and just it was almost surreal. Like it was like, cause like in like regions and everything, it was just kind of blah. Like when we won our region, it was like, well, that wasn't like, this was like, we were obviously excited and like we weren't. It's not that we were like so cocky. It was like, but this isn't the goal. Like this isn't what we're not happy with making it to state. Like that's not. That wasn't what we set out to do.
I mean, it was more than just a team to us. We've been playing together for so long, and then just to finally get it done, it was kind of like a dream coming true for us. And finally get those rings that we got, that we always wanted to kind of customize ourselves too.
I don't know what the other guys think, but when I look at Dell Rapids baseball now, and they go to Oklahoma and they go out to Rapid City and get some early games, it's really cool to see, and kind of feels like we were back in the Wild West where we would just show up and play Madison and Volga and just a couple times a year, and now they're going to Oklahoma, Rapid City, getting around, getting the boys out. So it's just cool to see what the program has developed into.
Congratulations to one of the best in Class B history, the Dell Rapids team from 2017. Once again, a huge shout out to this entire crew for going into the South Dakota High School Baseball Association Hall of Fame. Thanks for watching.